Hello, it's the local support meeting, also community network, Sam and Rachel. Let's just put ourselves onto the screen share. I've got the agenda already over here. Yeah, so I sent you some of the action items. They're still actually out.
They're still in my inbox.
Indeed, indeed. But yes, nothing urgent there. So just reviewing some of the other things. I don't know that there's anything in the outstanding action items that we actually need to update on. Only one was that I was thinking that we might have a look at Google Analytics together on the data. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just show you this. I mean, I think you've got access to this as well. I've started to be using Google Analytics more for our main site and analyzing the flow through the site. But yeah, so we can sort of see that. I mean, I think the main thing to notice here is that you know, we've got a fair number of people landing. This is over a 1 month period. You know, it's a couple hundred people landing on the homepage, but the majority of the people landing on the homepage do just sort of drop off, and they're kind of like. I mean, I think that's there's an extent to which we showcase this to people around the world, and it's not necessarily so relevant to people around the world. It's the local people. We can see that the, you know, of the people who are staying, you know, majority of them are going to the volunteer ops or the organization search, and so on. Yeah, I guess the main thing in some ways is that the site is not. I'm not seeing huge activity. I don't know if you had a chance to look at this at all. No.
Okay.
But we do have, you know, there's a lot of potential data that we can get out of there about what people are looking at in the site, and so on. I think there's.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go on ahead.
So, what do you want to get out of the site? What's your ultimate?
The original idea was.
I'm just about to go.
Okay.
Right. About Petra. Do you want to any sort of the trustee training?
Yes, I'm going to be on the next one.
Cool, great. Thanks. See ya. So
the original idea came from the fact that we get a lot of phone calls saying, "Do you know of X in Harrow? Do you know this in Harrow? Do you know that in Harrow?" A lot of phone calls. So rather than us just saying, "Okay, we know this one," we wanted to put it all in one place.
Yeah.
The main idea was then that charities updated it themselves. So we originally grabbed the information off the Charity Commission website. And we tried to encourage groups. So it's
are they doing that? Are they?
Not a huge amount. So that's been not great for engagement. And then the other thing was that, again, around volunteering. There are a lot of volunteering sites out there, but we want to bring it all into one place. So here it's a combination of people adding volunteer opportunities directly from the site, but also linking in with, so the red ones are through Do It, which is a national volunteering website. And so we bring them all in one place. There's another, I don't know, about 10 volunteering websites that do the same sort of thing. So more that if you live in Harrow, you can come in here and see what's in what area. And it doesn't matter if it's on Do It, on Team London, or all these different places. So the idea is to be a central place for information. So the volunteer stuff is fairly up to date. The organisation stuff, it's been more challenging to get groups to actually engage with that. So that's what the volunteering is more about, pulling information in rather than getting people to update information.
So maybe we'll go into our usual review. So we've got Pivotal Tracker here. If we look at the features, so we've had no new features delivered. Things are a bit quiet at the moment, but what I have noted actually from the way we were doing this review of kind of the features only is we've actually overlooked a few bug fixes that went out. So maybe we'll just get those accepted. So one of the issues that we had was that if you were creating an organization and for some reason it wasn't validated, then we might lose the user's selection for categories. And that's now fixed on the main site. We're just going to have a quick look. So for example, if I'm, let me just log in as the Agile Event, let me, let's log in as the administrator, that's probably the easiest. Yeah, so if I go and create a new organization, and if I leave out a name description, because we're now validating those, and I've for maybe some reason I've gone straight to categories first, I go, oh, well, I write that. yes, that's my organisation. We have the validation checks there, but it keeps the categories, whereas it was losing previously. So that seems like that's fixed, isn't it? So we'll click accept there. And then, this was an issue that you encountered a month or two ago. You were searching for a volunteer op, and you weren't logged in, and then you actually sort of doing it in front of me. That's also, we've got that fixed. So now, for example, if we're log out there, if we're, say, for example, looking at a particular volunteer opportunity, let's go and find one. What's this? There you go. So you might, and then you decide to log in, and log in as the admin there. So it will now take you straight back to that environment. So I think we want that fixed as well. So assuming you're happy with that, you can click that off. Yeah, so let's look through the stories. So we have got, well, it's been quieter. Zmago in Slovakia and Marcelo in Los Angeles have, California. So Zmago's got, now this might be a volunteer location different from all locations. Actually, that is now delivered, I believe, actually. I've just pushed that onto the production server, I believe. So this one now is, so if we've got, for example, this volunteer workers here, so look, yes. So you see here, this now, in principle, you can change the address to be different. It defaults to the address of the organization, but that can be changed. I guess if we go and have a quick look at, you see that in practice. So if we take, I think I've got down here, yep, that's my marketing version. So let's say that I wanted to change this, and what's the address? Here's 64 in a road, and the postcode here is
4HZ.
4HZ. So I can now update that, and that now has a separate and different location from the parent organization. So if that looks all right, we'll accept that. I checked earlier that the Google subpage results haven't particularly changed in any interesting way. We've got, yeah, so Zmago is now working on having the volunteer opportunities open in a new window, and Marcelo has been working on more of looking at the other kinds of validations, although I may push him away from that because it's a sort of a complex task. The main thing, I guess, I mean, I don't imagine anything's changed. This is the priority order that we've got for the, I'll just remove them so we can see this a bit easier. Yeah, so this is, so the yellow is in play. The grey there are what people will start working on as they come into the system. So one is trying to boost us for Harrow volunteering. This is about making the deleting of the volunteer ops available to users, posting our volunteer ops to do it, seeing all the opportunities and orders in a single location. We have the issue at the moment that, for example, if there's a do it opportunity at the same location of one of our locally posted ones, we won't see it. Increasing the accessibility to the volunteer opportunity search, and that other one about being able to override stuff that we pull from the do it database. Is that all looking like in approximately the right priority?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, nothing's yeah. Yes, yeah. So we'll just, I mean, now the MOOC has just finished the part 1 online course, and we've had about 20,000 students do that, and there's now a sort of a break before the part 2 starts. So I'm directing, so what do we do now? It's, well, there's lots of projects for you. We'll see if we can onboard any more of them to LocalSupport. Well, well, that's the thing. This is the thing with the MOOC, is you get 20,000 signed up, and then over each week you kind of hemorrhage. Yes. So, but I think we've got about 500 or so are actually completing the course, and are now up to speed on sort of the technologies that we're using. So we'll see. We do have actually there's now 3 or 4 other projects on Agile Ventures that are relatively active, so we're sort of competing with them for volunteer people. But so for example, Maro N, who did a lot of nice work for us as a guy from Tunisia, he's now working on the Osra project. But I mean, Zmago he started on one of the ones and came to us. So there's hopefully they all flow round between it. But yeah, so nothing too much to sort out there. We've managed to get a few of those items ticked off. Yeah.
All in all, how many projects do you have live?
In the Agile Ventures pantheon, I mean, you can see from our projects page, there's sort of
they just seem...
there's a lot of them, but basically, I'd say that's only the top 8 or so in there that are actually really active. They're sort of, you know, it's like volcanoes. There's some that I think I'm fairly sure that extinct at the moment. I'm quite pleased because we've got it's the Oslo Project Unify, Met Plus, LocalSupport, so on all the ways. I mean, there's 6 that are fairly active. I'd like to see, you know, a lot more.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. And so, like, you have different. You can pay for different business model. You can pay, and then you'll be part of the project, which is
well. I mean, we've been running without any kind of business model, purely as a sort of you know, just a community organisation for the last 3 years, and I've kind of put down some other teaching work that I do because I just love doing this so much. So we're trying to evolve this pricing model. It's still all basically free. What we've got now is, maybe saw that, is you can now pay for like extra support from Agile Ventures mentors, and then also what we've done is certain projects we've ring-fenced them as priority projects and said, so if you want to get it, it's partly just also to push the, you know, perhaps novices or not novices just to the whole way that we do things. I mean, they might be very experienced programmers in their own right, to push them to the starting projects or the, you know, I mean, particularly as the load is increasing on the Agile Ventures site. So we now have all of the students from the MOOC doing their pair programming through the site. It's taking a much higher load, and so it's then sort of challenging to have just everybody come and program on that. So so I mean, so we've now got, you know, about 15 people signed up to different levels of this program, which is nice because it's not really any money, but it pays for our hosting services. So covers the outgoing, which is a nice thing to have covered. Yes, but so I didn't ask actually at the beginning. Anything else for? I don't know. I've gone away and lost the. Did we have anything else for the agenda?
You did see that council? I
did see the council report thing. Of course, the thing we're going to talk about is the charity, the AV charity thing. Yes, I mean, and Steve also spent some hours discussing, telling me about his reaction to it. So, yes, I mean, I sort of saw that, and so Stella had written that thing, and then. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's all to be seen what happens next. Steve seemed to be quite, they've got completely the wrong end of the stick, and I don't know, has he talked to you about his letter that he's writing in response to it?
I've seen it. Yes. Harrow Council are looking at a sort of volunteering strategy, and they wrote a paper. We spoke to them, and Sam met with them, and another person we both know in 3 different ways spoke with them. So it's just sort of reviewing what their paper was.
Well, then the interesting thing about the council thing was it outlined, you know, their approach to volunteering, or as, you know, leaving things basically the same, buying, you know, a service, for example, to do it, or, you know, getting a custom service built. And this is what, for Alex, you know, we pitched to them a kind of, you could do an agile process. You could get all the stakeholders together and do an inception event and so on and so forth. What the council then do, and then there's also this lottery funding that's come in for, you know, doing volunteering within Harrow and increasing participation with disadvantaged groups. We will see where, if any money gets spent on digital at some point. But, I guess there's no action items for us from that. No. And and the last thing is to look at the AV chat. I guess, I mean, you've got to go really soon. Any other quick questions before you go?
Not at the moment, no. I kind of like working my way through the website, and I've got quite a few questions, but you know, it just seemed like there was a lot there, and so who does the housekeeping on it? So projects that have kind of you do it. So that have maybe been going on for like 2 years or something. It was some. Yeah. So how does that?
I mean, my main dashboard on it is this really. It's Slack, which if you've joined through the website, you can get access to. But so we have channels for each of those projects. So, for example, this is Met Plus. You can see them voting on stories, and I kind of basically follow, and I'm kind of plugged into the activity levels of the different projects through seeing the notifications through here, and I offer support to the individual project leaders through this project support channel, and brainstorm new project ideas and so on. And we have a sort of a small community of people spread around the world, most of whom who are graduates of this online course, who are quite invested in the system and keeping it working, and they offer help and advice to anybody coming in.
Okay. Well, I'm going to shoot off, but so I don't know if Rachel so my background's computer games.
Right.
So we for Sony and for Microsoft, and we
wonderful.
Use Agile as our bread and butter.
Yes.
Developing games and so forth. So it's really interesting to see what you've done with it. So,
thanks.
So cool.
Well, and one of the things we're trying to do is get. So we've just released this now. We've got a kind of a karma rating. So people get a different level of karma based upon contribution of code, projects, and also their participation in online events and so on. So
who's the top?
As it happens, it's very strange. Not through no particular tweaking of the voting system.
Thomas isn't far behind.
Thomas as well as my co-founder in Sweden. Yes. So yes, and this is Michael. That you know as well.
Have you found that there are a lot of coders around Harrow that you know?
Not so. I mean, I know quite a few people who work in tech in Harrow. Not so many have got involved in this. In a big way.
It's really interesting because Harrow's actually got quite a few programmers here.
Right. Yes.
So it's a bit of a hub. So.
Okay. Yes. Oh well, I would love to connect with them. I mean, obviously you've got this wonderful background in programming and gaming and so on. Is it at the moment that you're not doing that anymore?
Well, I've been mum. For a little bit, so we had another little girl actually. A year ago we had another little girl. So I'm just looking to kind of get back. I'm trying to find a voluntary thing to get hold of.
Right.
Andrew and I thought about setting up something called Harrow Hacks, which is basically setting up, doing a hackathon for 11 to 15-year-olds in Harrow, and try and get Westminster and Harrow Council try and get some funding from the council. I know exactly. Try and drum up some interest in that, and get some STEM ambassadors as well, and try and and see where that goes. So Harrow's a really interesting place. It's got the haves and the have-nots, and it's kind of like trying to target some of the kids which maybe don't get that support in this type of area, and support them. So that's what I'm trying to work on as a proposal now. So as well as trying to get back to work. So, but I bumbled along here with Drew and popped in. Rachel's been so helpful. So
looking volunteering, and so I was sort of suggesting a couple of different things. So there's always a background. There could be something here. So
well, we'd love to have you involved, and we'd love to help out with a hack day, and
Well, hello. I'll become knocking.
Sure.
So
Yeah. So I mean, if you have access to that, you can always reach me. You can ping me individually, or if you want to start, like we have this new projects channel for getting ideas if you want to get other people involved. But feel free to reach out to me individually via mail or Slack or whatever it is.
Yeah, I will do actually, Sam, to be honest. So I'm trying to get some talkers on VR and augmented reality there as well. Try and get some.
Sure, Well, Pokemon Go's all the rage. So my kids are nuts about that.
Yeah, oh God, Alex was playing it this morning in the park, and she was saying, "Oh, Mummy, it's so educational. I learnt map reading. I'm outdoors walking, and something."
Get hit by a bus as I cross the road.
And it's like, oh well, that's fine, Alex. That's absolutely fine. It's educational value. Go ahead, spend the whole summer playing it. So well, it was lovely meeting you guys. Lovely meeting you, and we'll be in contact.
Sure, great to see you.
And Rachel, thanks again.
That's all right.
I've now got to drive 3 hours down the motorway.
Oh dear, well, have a good trip.
Have a lovely time in Japan.
Yes. Well, I'll be online, but maybe we'll have a chance to meet up again in the autumn.
Yeah. Okay. Take care, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay, go on. The charity commission.
Yeah, so charity commission, yes.
I can read it on that. I had to print it out.
Right.
To find the language.
It's a different world, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yes.
And I mean, fairly recently, I've been involved in a couple of applications, and they've always come back with these sorts of questions.
Absolutely,
So I don't
absolutely.
think, that you don't seem to be asked more than other people. So
No,
just
yes.
about
I'm just trying to
those.
find my own copy of it in my list of all the things
You
I've
want
got
to
to.
forward it back to you.
No. I mean, I'll have it in the email. I was just gonna see. I would have sensibly given it a nice name. I'll get.
So you can find it.
I will get it in. I need to do a reboot. Basically, is what it is. It's this ongoing. There we go. Rachel, find it in the email. Okay, yes, and there's my I've got this one. Right, let's see, put it like there. Yes. So and I pulled in the objects that we have and that they're
I mean, I
responding
generally
to.
thought your answers were fine. Made sense. Also, the only one I sort of suggested adding a bit more is because there is the thing about they don't like trustees to be paid.
No.
So I just thought about suggesting at the end of that last paragraph about if or Thomas become paid.
Compensated.
Either they could quite both, or we could decide what it'd be. You would resign as a trustee, or that you will follow the Charity Commission guidelines, because there are some rules that trustees can be paid.
Right.
But at least if you sort of say, I think if you say this, they're going to come back and say the trustees can't be paid.
Right. Whereas
So
if we
here
have
it
this
makes
text,
it
yes.
look like, okay, you've read their guidance. So I'm just saying, suggest that you either resign or that you'll follow the Charity Commission guidance and ensure a decision will be made by independent trustees.
Right.
So that you aren't deciding, okay, so tomorrow I'm going to get paid.
Yes.
And I put just in line with better practice relating to conflict of interest. So.
That sounds reasonable.
But otherwise, I thought they made sense, your answers.
Yes. Oh, well, that's good to hear. I guess the one thing was I haven't changed the objects in line with what they said.
I'm not suggesting you do.
Oh, I see. Well, no, they say the objects as worded are not in an exclusively charitable format and will need to be amended.
Oh, okay, sorry, I missed that. Okay, need to be amended. Yeah, but it's just, what I started looking at,
yes,
only just before, was seeing what other charities are out there.
Yes.
Copy their objects.
Right.
Sometimes that works.
Yes, sure. Yes, it's difficult with them. It's not clear what aspect of the objects they're not. So I've got one, for example. I mean, this is like doing education, support and so on. Is the activities?
No, I think it goes to charity framework because people can edit that, so it's not always.
Oh, charity. There we go.
Mm.
Charity framework, right. I'll go back to the advanced search keywords.
I think this second, the education one is quite common, so you'll probably find quite a few examples. The first one is the less common project.
We've got here Computer Aid International Charity Framework. That's distribution of information technology to the rest of the world. British Computer Society Charity Framework to promote the study and practice of computing and advanced knowledge and education therein for the benefit of the public. Right, but you're thinking it's the
actually no, but I'm going back because we based this one on one that we did, and it's what did I put in our foundation? But so this bit is something that I've already used. So I presume that's fine. By providing
the thing that I noticed from reading some of the other parts is I think when they ask this question, it seems to me that they are thinking that we are providing education to charities, or they think we might be trying to provide education to charities about software development. And so I wonder if that's this one here. It says we're educating everybody, and so maybe they're thinking it's educational rather. I don't know. That makes sense. The things that I've found is that there are groups falling into the categories that we're in, and they're providing sort of IT training, and it says generally, but particularly to either people on low income, elderly people, or young people. So there's sort of, they seem to have like a specific group, and we're sort of like trying to do advancement of education to anybody who's interested. Really. I mean, I guess maybe we could reword that second one, and we could say it's about, we're particularly concerned with increasing access to education for people who don't otherwise normally have access to education.
Then you might have to explain how you meet that object.
Right, but we meet that object by delivering the services online, as opposed to, we don't require people to come to a school in a physical location. So you're asking it, or whether the sole purpose is to advance education and information technology.
Yeah, saying, are you doing this to get here? And it's almost like an activity to.
Yes, I think your original advice was probably correct. If we just have a single objective, that may have been more straightforward.
Here, we've got including by, so we've only got one object, but including by. So could you maybe have that as your object, and then including by, and then reword this? So it's still in there in your key thing. That's your single objective.
Right.
You're doing it by providing this.
Oh, okay.
Because here we've got, okay, so this object is pretty much the same by the last sentence. And then we're doing it by. And here we're doing some coordination.
Right, there's two different sub things there.
So that could be like a sub.
It could be a sub clause. It's interesting, although now that I read this again, they seem to be saying, the sole purpose is to advance education and technology, but that they seem to imply that perhaps that would be a reasonable standalone thing.
I think either of them are.
Well, but what they're asking is like whether the organisation will further either of the purposes outlined in the guidance below. So they've got these two things here are both related to this. So it's sort of, if they thought that the education one was less charitable, they'd be saying, well, are you really doing, and I guess like education is a charitable means in itself. When I read this one, it seems to be addressing I think that there's been a question mark in the past about whether helping other charities is a charitable activity in itself. And then this document seems to say that in most cases it probably is, and there were, here are some court cases to support the fact that it is the case.
And I think when I did this, these I copied as much as I could using the language
from within there. So yeah, maybe I need to reread these two. And oh well, right. Yeah. So you're saying
find out what it is that matches what you want to do most
Yeah,
clearly.
yeah.
So it's not normal English.
no, indeed. Well,
I think I remember the reason.
yeah.
I think at the end it's got some examples. Right, yeah, so here. This is, I've copied from here, so I've copied this one.
Yeah.
So it could be advice, or could be information to agency. So here's something.
I noticed that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, although I think that we're
So it could be. You could
take those two.
and you could put the ICT in advanced information.
Yeah. Yeah.
To make it more specific to you. So I guess that's fine.
That's it. You're a trendsetter.
Yeah, exactly.
You're willing to break the rules. You know, it's
Just let me quite away without getting up.
that's my problem. Yeah, I mean, although whereas before I was sort of, I was very keen for the dual objectives to be sort of separate, standalone. I mean, to be honest, with the, I'm quite happy in some ways to have that as a sub-objective, because I sort of feel in the long run, ultimately, I'm very, very keen on increasing access to education. But I think my highest goal is to try and actually help, so some charities, receive some software that does actually, make a difference for them. And particularly as with Agile Ventures Premium, the idea, if there was a charity willing to pay for those services, then like we've got the idea that participating in a paid project would not be quite so open to everyone in the world in the way that we have some of our other projects.
So that might be your first, because here I've got including by, and then that's sub-clause 1, and that's sub-clause 2.
Yeah. And is the mechanism for responding to them is just via email?
Yeah, just email back.
You email back to wherever it came from,
and then
right?
Get straight away run out. Once you're in their system, they're generally quite quick.
Okay,
You'll
right.
automatically get an out of office type reply, and you're dealing with it.
Right.
But at the beginning, you send it in and you have to wait for ages. But once you're on the system, the responses are generally quite quick.
Right. Right. Yes. Good show. Okay. Well, that's very helpful. I mean, I guess I might reword this and send you an. Yeah, lovely. Great. Thank you.
When you're
on Thursday. Yes. Yeah, and I guess so I'm away and then you're away, and I guess we'll regroup in September. Yeah, good show.
It's a long way away, but probably will go be.
It'll snap by, won't it? Yes. So, and I sent you an invoice, and then I realized, wait a second, maybe I should have sent you an invoice in. I think it's like actually the end of the half rather than the end of the quarter. Anyway, don't. Yeah, I will. When I've had my sleep, I will review the invoices again. So, well, I'm ahead of the game. Yes, families and careers. It's a complex mix, isn't it? Yeah. Well, so nothing else we need to work out. That's yeah, good show. Yeah, good to catch up. Oh, in the background, I'm doing security review on the app and trying to upgrade. So can I just you've got that text that you wrote there. I'll that sounds like an excellent addition. So I'll just shut down.